You lost control. This was the one thing you didn't see coming, and no one would blame you, though. If you cried in private.
This is Beacon Radio. I'm your host, Steve Teel, delivering hope, inspiration, and change. I am excited. Are you excited, listeners? We're going to talk to Mark Hall with with Casting Crowns, and not only excited to talk to them, they're coming to San Antonio a week from tomorrow, May 7th, Sunday at the Freeman. Mark, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. How about you, bro?
Man, well, I'm doing great. I mean, just looking at it, I get to talk to you, which is pretty cool. Talking to me, man, that's not the coolest
I tell my
thing.
kids that all the time. I tell them that you get to talk to me now, and they're not as blown away by that.
I love it. All right, are those your own kids, or is that the kids in your student ministry, or both?
Yeah, I would say both. I think the luster is gone from the youth group. They're like, okay, we know who you are. Whatever. Let's get on with life here.
Yeah, well, all right, I got to ask a question. It's almost like a game. What is more rare? So I'm going to give you the choice, and I'm going to give our listeners the choice. Tell me which one is more rare. Been invited, one of the only American bands to play in North Korea. Yes, I'm talking about Casting Crowns. Now, invited, if I was invited, I may not go. You guys went. Not once, but twice. Okay, is that more rare than this? Or being in a band that has sold 10 million albums, I'm not even done yet, and its members remain in youth ministry at churches? I mean, which one is more rare, North Korea twice or being in youth ministry for 25 years? What's the deal?
Man, I think in the current climate, a trip to North Korea might be a little more rare than even it was at the time.
Yeah.
But
man, that's kind of crazy. You've lived a life. I mean, North Korea twice. Would you go back if they invited you now?
For the sake of the gospel, I would. I'd go in a heartbeat.
Wow.
But it was such a surreal trip. It's like stepping into a movie, and as crazy as it is right now, and all the threats that you hear from them right now, I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that the majority of the people that are trapped and living in that country under the leadership of that leader probably have no idea any of this is even happening.
Wow.
They've got one channel on television. They've got written history books telling them what their leader wants them to know, and all they know is what they're told.
Yeah.
So there's no telling what they even think. For all they know, we're attacking them, and they're getting ready. It's really scary to see what happens when there's control on media, and I can't imagine what's going on over there right now.
Yeah, well, still an incredible opportunity. So, did you get to sing? I mean, your Christian songs and everything over there, or did they put you on constraint?
Oh yeah, well there was constraint. The way it worked was there's one governmental agency from here, like a non-governmental agency, like Red Cross and Hope for the Humanities. Those groups like that. There's one called Global Resource Services, and that's the last NGO that's allowed to come to North Korea, because all of the Red Crosses and all those other groups would sneak in reporters and then come back and do these big exposés, so they won't let anybody in. Well, this is the last one, and they still go over and help them with agriculture, help them with hospital tech, different things to just try to build friendship and relationship between the two countries. Just trying to make a little peace by helping them. And Global Resource Services has been going there for 20 years. And so they have this festival that you just heard of when they marched the missiles down the road the other day.
Yeah.
That big festival for his birthday was what we went for.
Whoa!
About 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And they have artists and musicians from all over the world come, just never usually from America, usually from Russia, different places like that. And so the way Global Resource Services did it was, hey, how would you like to have a Grammy award-winning band from the United States come be a part? And so for all this time, I've always wondered what the use of the Grammys and AMAs and all that stuff was, but that's what got our feet in the door.
Yeah.
With North Korea, so they wanted us to be a part. So we performed, and they wanted to hear traditional folk songs of America. So I thought, Amazing Grace, that's a perfect traditional folk song.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but so we got to do our songs though. We did Who Am I and Voice of Truth.
Wow.
Praising the Storm, and I was just praying Acts chapter 2 every time I sang. It's like, Lord, let the ones who need to understand what I'm singing understand it. And so we had some pretty cool other moments happen that I probably shouldn't talk about. But,
okay.
some really good Jesus moments that happened
man.
with individuals there.
Okay, that's cool, man. That you teased that out well, but we want you to be able to go back a third time, so we'll hold off on that. All right. Well, student ministry. I still call it youth ministry. I'm a little bit older than you, and I loved youth ministry. I love kids. I love students. I loved it, but I did not last 25 years, my brother. How have you done that?
I think the key is the middle school. I think most youth pastors they make friends with the high school cool kids.
Yeah.
And then the cool kids graduate, and then the youth leader graduates because he doesn't know anybody else. So I think as long as you stay connected to the middle school, and you get to know them as they're coming up, and you're spending time with them. Like I do a lot of one-on-one discipleship with our students, and so it's the relationships that keep you there.
Yeah.
And so it's because I'm definitely not cool anymore. So I don't think I was cool when I was young enough to be cool. But
it's official now.
You earn the right. Well, through relationship, you earn the right to speak truth to teenagers. You don't lead by position. You lead by relationship. So it doesn't really matter how old you are if they know that you love them.
Right. Okay, well, that's awesome. That really, is such a blessing that you guys, it would have been so easy for so many people. Casting crowns probably takes up more than your time enough. But then to continue to be in youth ministry, student ministry is just amazing. What a blessing. All right. Hey, walk us through some of the cancer thing. The new album, everybody, is The Very Next Thing. Incredible album, just as they all are. One of the songs, you're going to want the album if you don't have it, but one of the songs is Oh My Soul. And talk to us in the few minutes we have remaining about that crazy experience. Are you doing all right? You got a cough today.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
You need some pizza from Matthew West again or something.
He's actually headed over here in a minute. I'm in Nashville writing for a Christmas record. So he and I are about to get fired up here in about 45 minutes or so. All
right. Well, he's probably not bringing a pizza this early, though, is he?
Well, with Oh My Soul, I found out about cancer on a Wednesday, and Wednesday is youth group day.
Yeah.
And my doctor is a close friend of mine, and he knows my schedule, and he knows I'm only in town Sunday through Wednesday, so I can only come to the doctor Monday through Wednesday. And on Monday through Wednesday, it's a whirlwind.
Yeah.
So there's so many families, there's several hundred teenagers, there's a lot going on, and so he'll let me just run in and run out, and get tests done to make sure what's happening. And I had acid reflux, and so I went in for acid reflux, and he did a quick scan just to see if I had an ulcer. And, I went in for acid reflux, and I came out with a mass in my kidney.
Dang.
And within an hour or two, we're saying, dude, this kidney's going to have to come out, and that's most likely cancer. And
wow.
And that was all in one day. And so it really took me off guard. Really did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a youth pastor. I'm the guy that's always there for everyone else's bad news. I've walked through this hundreds of times in 20-something years of student ministry, but I wasn't ready for it to be for me. And when it hit me, it's really rocked me. And I felt myself sort of closing up. I felt myself thinking, I don't want people to know this. I don't want my kids to know this. I don't want them to be scared and not know what's going to happen. I don't want my teenagers to know this at the youth group. I don't. They've got enough problems of their own. I felt myself sort of closing up.
Yeah.
And I remember going to youth group that night, and when I came out, it was kind of like a blur that night because my mind was just in a million places of what I just found out, and the kids, nobody else knows,
Yeah.
And just my wife. And so I walk out of the church, and I remember looking up at the sky out in the parking lot, and Scripture started coming out, in my thoughts.
Really?
Scriptures that I had read all my life.
Oh, man.
And the first verse that came to my mind was when David was talking to himself, and he said, "Why so downcast, O my soul?
Yeah.
Why are you so downcast?
Wow.
Put your hope in God. You know who God is. He didn't stop being who he is just because you don't understand what's going on, you know." And it was like the fear that I was facing was suddenly having to face the God that I know.
Oh, I love that lyric,
and from
Mark.
that point on, I couldn't be afraid and ignore truth. I could be afraid, but I had to face truth.
Yeah.
And I walked right up to my office, and I sat down at the piano and a little keyboard in my office, and that song started being birthed that night, the day I found out.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. All right, well, listen, I know there's a lot more to talk about, but we've got to honor your time. And, I know anybody who's going to that concert, I imagine you're going to get to hear a little bit more. And that song and the album, but that song is incredible, right out of Psalm 42. It's just beautiful. It's encouraged me today because I'd just kind of forgotten about, how he's arguing with himself and kind of like just what you said. It's really beautiful and a beautiful lyric. There's a place where fear has to face the God you know. That applies whether you're facing cancer, whether you're just going through struggles or afraid of the future or anything. So, Mark Hall, Casting Crowns, thank you so much. And we're really excited that you're coming to San Antonio, the Freeman Coliseum, May 7th. Can't wait. Not only you guys, which would be enough. I don't know. I mean, if you did all your songs, it's like about a 14-hour. It's a lock-in, I think. Mm-hmm. But we've got Danny Goki and Unspoken. Love those guys as well. Incredible night, people. You don't want to miss it. You want to be there. It's not just for the music. God is going to be there, and you're going to want to be there. You're going to be encouraged and inspired by all of this. So, Mark, thank you so much for your time and your ministry and for blessing us today. Really appreciate you.
Oh, my soul, you are not alone. There's a place where fear has to face the God you know. One more day, he will make a way. Let him show you how you can lay this down.
This is Beacon Radio. I'm your host, Steve Teel, delivering hope, inspiration, and change. We'll be right back.
In Steve Teel's novel, Joe Angel, The Guardian Games, Book 1, angels and demons battle inside the Alamo Dome with high stakes involved. These angel-demon challenges are part of the Guardian Games. High school senior Daniel Walsh's future is all set. He's a can't-miss baseball prospect, but his faith in Christ recently has just been striking out. When an angel with attitude invades Daniel's life, the tension and conflict escalates quickly. If Daniel experiences the Guardian Games at the Dome, could it empower his faith, or will he continue to resist and go his own way? Whatever he chooses, Daniel Walsh will impact eternity, either for good or for bad, in Joe Angel, The Guardian Games, Book 1. Available at Amazon or email steve@sabeacon.com. New guests to Momentum Bible Church can get their signed copy for free Sundays at 10 a.m. See MomentumBibleChurch.com for directions or email steve@sabeacon.com.